winemaking techniques. The soils, what can we say about terroir? Because we are putting everything in. In a normal farm, you bring nitrogen, phosphorus, calcium, whatever the plant, you have like papers that say you have to have 100 parts of this, 100 like...
recipe.
Like a cocktail, yeah.
And for everyone the same. You see, it's like in university, that's what they teach you. Your plant, your soil has to have this, and this amount. So at the end, what terroir are we talking about? We're bringing food outside, fertile irrigation, everything. So, and the plant there with the roots up here, very dependent on people. So what terroir are we talking about? So this is what we liked, that if we are doing everything from inside, we are not bringing anything from outside. The idea is that we can taste really what there is here. Good or bad, but this is real. We don't do any fining in the wines. We don't use any yeasts, only native yeasts, which I think maybe there's not too many people. We are small. I still have a yeast packet closed from about 5 years ago. So I was saying to Alvaro, let's do an experiment. Don't put yeast in. And we did one tank. It went fantastic. Then we went to the whole vintage that year, the whole harvest. No yeast, never again. There it is closed. So if you're doing good agriculture here, I think it helps because we bring good material there and with no chemicals, so it works. So great. Now the second thing about Steiner or what we think is that he teaches us to use some herbs. Why? Because he says that the soil has been like degenerated by all the use we've done, by overuse, by all the stuff we put in, nitrogen, etc., etc., etc. And so we prepare these typical herbs that I'm sure you've heard, the chamomile, melandrama, oak bark, valerian, etc., dandelion. We prepare them a certain way. Some we dig under the soil for 6 months to capture like the energy that there is under the soil during summer or during winter. Some we hang out, and these herbs, what we get afterwards, these little powders, we put them into our compost, okay? And there are studies that show that the compost has more microbiology, more all insects, etc., and bacteria. That at the end, these bacteria are the ones that help the food go to the plant. Because when we put like nitrogen in, which is the typical thing, chemical nitrogen, we burn everything. We kill a lot of life under the soil, most of the life. So what do we have to do? We have to put more in, more nitrogen or whatever, so that the plant at the end eats by osmosis from a higher concentration to a lower. Instead, in nature, it's a different way, like it was meant to be and what we are trying to do. There are bacteria in the soil that capture the nitrogen that comes from the air, goes into the soil. These bacteria transform it into and take it to the roots of the plant. Active transport. But if we have killed all this microbiology, there is nothing to take the... So many times people put stuff in the soil and they don't even realize that it's not getting to the roots. So that's the agriculture we are doing today. So this is the opposite. And then the third item of biodynamics is that Steiner says to us to open our heads, that we cannot think that we are only ruled or that things happen within the planet Earth, that we are also connected to the universe, we are part of the universe. And what happens further away also affects us, especially the moon for us. And there is a biodynamic calendar that we try and follow for some works, so that the idea is that, for example, the moon is going past one constellation, for example, Taurus. Taurus, from the ancient Greeks, Egyptians, we have learned that Taurus is linked, this constellation, to the soil. So, for example, when the moon is going past Taurus, the idea is that the energy that Taurus is throwing or giving will be like a mirror, the moon will be like a mirror, and this will come to the earth. And Taurus, for example, makes the plants more receptive in its roots part, because it's more soil. Taurus is soil constellation, So the idea, for example, if I wanted to put my compost in, I would try and do it on a soil day or root day. We have 4 like days. We have root days, we have leaf days or water days, we have flower days and fire days. Okay? We try also and relate it always with the constellations. Okay? So for example, a fire constellation, it's the further away planets. I would like to harvest our grapes, hopefully our best grapes, on a fruit day, because when we open a bottle of wine, we would like to be expressive, not inside. Like a soil day would be like winter, you know, inside, soil, under the soil. A fruit day would be like summer, upwards, open. And we try and do different works. For example, in the farm, if we're going to do something to what's it, toro, the male cow, the toro, bull, the bull. If we are going to, I don't know how you do, but like cut everything, you would try and do it on a soil day so that it wouldn't bleed. You know, even in that it affects. If we
it still hurts, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, I'm sure it still hurts. I'm sorry for the example I gave, but you won't forget. No, but
it's soil day for you, buddy.
If we want to save sap, for example, if we don't want to lose sap, we would also do our pruning maybe on a root day. If we have too much vigor and we would like to lose a little vigor, we would try and do our pruning, or maybe on a fruit day or leaf day that the liquids are upwards, so we would lose them, you see? The same when we are doing a racking over in the winery, we would try and do it on a soil day or earth day, so that the fine leaves are down and that it's easier to do the racking over. So it's going with nature. Biodynamics is like about going with nature and not against. We should have a more balanced farm, and in the years maybe we would never have to take grapes out or anything, because they will understand what we need and what we want, more or less.